Expedition 33 may be one of the greatest games I have played in years. While most people know me as a Destiny lore creator, many years ago my favorite genre was turn-based RPGs. In fact, my first favorite game when I was a child was Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo. That led me down a road to enjoy games such as Eternal Sonata, Lost Odyssey, Costume Quest, Final Fantasy 13-2, and more. I didn't have a PlayStation growing up, so unfortunately didn't get to play many of the Final Fantasy games. There's also this super indie turn-based RPG that was made by some journalists, some game journalists, like comedy journalists, I believe, that I cannot for the life of me remember its name. It was on the 360 and had some retro graphics, relied on a lot of humor, and I think had 3 sequels. So if anybody remembers or knows what it's called, please tell me in the comments. I've been Googling for a while now. Also, if you hear any rain or anything, it is storming really bad outside and it's picking up on my mic a little bit. In a week, I put around 70 hours into this game, and while I have not beat Simon yet, I was really proud of myself for finally defeating Clea. I know there's a lot of one-shot builds for Clea, but I didn't have the Luminas for that, so I sat there for hours in a VC while some people watched me frustratingly learn the parries and curse every time she healed when I skill issued. I'm a little over level 80 now, and my first attempt at Simon was brutal. Got his first phase down easily, but that second phase ended my happiness very, very quickly. I'll be back though when I have some time. We big D it around here, okay? We have BDE. While this video will be lore related, I will share my builds at the end of this video if you'd like to see what I am using. I beat the game at around level 47 and Clea at level 73, which I believe were both under-leveled at that time. You'll also get to see me skill issue Simon as I show off parts of my build, but I wasn't taking the fight super seriously, so I missed most of my parries. Feel free to say skill issue in the comments, you will be 100% correct. Fair warning though, there will be spoilers in this video for, well, obvious reasons. I'm talking about the Paintress. But there will be some area spoilers in the background game footage in this video as well. Expedition 33's story starts out simple enough. A mysterious woman paints large numbers on a stone pillar, indicating who will die the following year. Typical, I know. This has happened to each and every one of you. But as the story opens up, we see more depth and complications in the life of each character. All you know for 90% of the story is that you have to stop the Paintress. She is your enemy. Along the way, you meet Renoir, who does everything to stop you from getting to the tower where the Paintress sleeps. This is where things get complicated. By the end of the story, you find out that Maëlle is the Paintress's daughter trapped in a painting. Renoir is a painted version of her father, but not her real father. Alicia is a painted version of Maëlle in what she looks like in the real world. The Curator is her real father, and Verso is a painted version of her dead brother. Then there's her sister, who is not in the painting herself, but there's a painted version of her that you fight later on that kind of went insane and snapped. Did you get all that? Like this is a usual family dynamic. Like I could toss a stone at any of my viewers and it'll hit somebody who has this exact same family dynamic. The world we are in is a painting made by Verso when he was a child in the real world. He was killed in a fire that Alicia says is her fault, which also left her badly scarred and unable to really speak. Verso, the real one, put part of his soul inside this painting. This causes their mother to spend all her time inside the painting to deal with the grief and feel closer to her lost son. There's also this rival faction called the Riders. We don't really know anything about them except they're at war with the Painters. And that the Riders are the reason real Verso died. Alicia went into the painting and became trapped when Riders set it on fire. Verso went into the painting to save her and tossed her out of it, but was unable to make it back out of the painting itself before it was consumed by the blaze. By the end of the game, we come to find out the Paintress didn't want to kill anyone. Her marks on the monolith are a warning to the people who live there. She wants them to know what's about to happen to them. The real person who is behind the gommage, an erasure of the people in the city, is actually the Curator, hoping that by erasing her oldest paintings, he can coax her to leave the painting behind and exist again in the real world, as existing in the painting for this long is killing her outside. So there we have the philosophical question. Was the Paintress right? She never killed anyone. She just wanted to hide away from the real world and exist in a world where she had her whole family still. She painted a new version of her husband, Renoir, to protect her and her family. She painted a new version of Verso had he never died and was able to grow older, painting her daughter, Clea, who eventually breaks and goes insane. And she painted a new version of her daughter, Alicia, leaving her scarred, which is kind of pretty messed up. She gave Verso a new life, but didn't give her daughter one. It does show how she feels about Alicia. She made Verso, like I said, new and whole, while leaving Alicia the same as she was in the real world. The people and creatures inside this world are very real. They exist in this universe. They are not fake or playthings. They have lives and hopes and dreams. The painters have the ability to create whole universes inside their paintings and transfer themselves into them. Time also moves differently inside the paintings than the real world, as at one point Renoir says he lived trapped under the monolith for 66 years before escaping. The story of Expedition 33 is about the moral implications of a grieving family and the godlike powers they possess. If you lost a family member, would you choose to recreate them to see and feel them again? Would that make it any less real? It's a natural part of grief, feeling that loss so greatly to think you yourself are dying and would do anything to stop the pain. I know I've been in relationships where the breakup was so bad on me, it tore me apart and I almost walked into traffic. Looking back, that was kind of silly. Don't ever do that. And I'm sure that a breakup with a girl is nothing compared to the loss of a child. I myself do not have any children that I am aware of, so I don't know personally. I just kind of feel like loss of a child is more impactful. The heartbreak the Paintress was suffering from was so strong that even when you beat her, the only thing she says is why. She doesn't understand. Why would you want to take her comfort away from her? Why would you want her to live in a world of pain and regret? Why would you take away the only person that was keeping that entire universe alive? To her, this is the only thing keeping her happy. This fake world and her fake family. We do this in our own lives too. After a loss, we drown out our pain in alcohol, drugs, or in the bed of strangers. We don't want to feel it anymore. The brief moments of forgetting what we are going through is all we have to keep us going. I myself have done all three, as well as pouring myself into fictional worlds that I would create. I used to write a lot of fiction. I even went to college for story writing, wanted to be a screenwriter and a novelist. I self-published a couple of books, but nothing great. I quickly found out my best writing came when I was suffering the most. I poured my pain into my words and blocked out the real world, sitting in coffee shops, tunnel vision, at my laptop. In my writing, I was happy. As my characters suffered, I released my own suffering. In reality, she wasn't harming anyone but herself. Sure, she abandoned her family more or less. But does this mean that she shouldn't have been left alone? I would say she never got past the denial stage of grief, denying her son was dead by recreating him and living in his world. She wasn't angry except at her husband for trying to bring her home. In fact, to the world of the canvas, she was the good guy. Why the people saw her as a villain because they didn't understand why she painted the age the next group would die. She was in fact trying to preserve them and warn them. She wanted to care for this world and see it grow and flourish. Yes, it wasn't the real world, but what is real? It was a literal universe populated with living things. Doesn't that make it a moral obligation to keep it alive? The Paintress, I think, wasn't perfect, but was not a villain. I don't think anyone is the villain really in this story. Not Renoir, not the Paintress. They're all just trying to do what's best for themselves and their family. It's so complicated with lots of emotions and moral quandaries that I really think that every single person that plays the game will pick up on a different emotion, a different perspective of what is right and wrong in this situation. Like myself, I believe the Paintress is more morally correct than Renoir, but I could understand if someone was like, nah, Renoir's the good guy. Renoir did what he was right. I can understand that, because if I was in the Paintress's position, I would probably do the same thing. I would love to forgive the pain that I have suffered in my life. By the time we fight the Paintress, her mind is so gone. She is so weak from trying to fight back against her husband, the curator. She doesn't even recognize her own creations. Yes, she sees him as Verso, but she thinks they are a trick by her husband to expel her from the painting. Her grief is literally tearing her apart and destroying her mind. She can't even hold together her own physical body. The only way to truly answer if the paintress was right is how do you see the painting? As I said before, everyone in here was real. It wasn't AI or something like that. They were living, breathing beings. If you see them as real, then she was correct in holding on, making sure her husband couldn't destroy the painting and killing everyone inside. It was his fault the gommage was even happening. As she grew weaker, she couldn't hold on to the oldest of her creations. But if you view it as a lot of real-life religions, that the creators don't own their creations anything, then you'd probably see her as wrong, that she was destroying herself and family to live in a false world. I grew up in Christianity, and I know for a fact that Christians see God as something that doesn't owe them. God can torture, kill, abuse, and discard them at his purview. One of the core things in Christianity that I learned is that you are worthless. You are nothing. God is everything. God can do what he wants. Do not question it. One of the main things that turned me away from religion. And I think that's why the Paintress is correct, and why I moved away from religion. And like I said, one of the main reasons was because I got tired of singing songs about how I was less than and not worthy, and reading stories about how great God was to kill innocent people. I didn't ask to live, but now that I do, I will live. No one has the right to take that away from me, not even my creator, if there is one. She may not have done the things in the healthiest way, abandoning her real family, but to keep her soul's son and painting alive was the best choice for her. I understand pain. I have lived a life of pain, and I suffer from a laundry list of emotional and mental disorders. I agree with the Paintress because I am her. I would do the same things. I would hide away and escape from reality. I think one of the best parts of Expedition 33 is its ability to make us feel. Right off the bat, we are exposed with loss. We get to live and play as Sophia for a short time at the beginning of the game. The developers didn't need to do that. We could have kept playing as Gustav with Sophia by our side. I feel they did this on purpose to let us quickly experience someone firsthand who was about to die. Then we see more loss with Gustav, and then Monaco's son. Then we see some of the characters around us that want to die. It's a game of feeling to expose our emotional depth. Do you think the Paintress was correct? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching this video. I'm working on branching out from just Destiny content here on my page, so please hit that sub button. I plan on doing some more Expedition 33 videos, some Elden Ring, and more. And I told you guys that I'd show off my builds, so here they are. Here is what I am running currently as I work my way back up to being able to get Simon, and enjoy the music. Thank you all.
Gustav, dom guardiam, dilim didididim, lutes serado dilom, seram, dim dim da 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 dim da 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 dim da di dum, dim da 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 dim da 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 dim da di dum. Dans là-haut sera ravi, les toits à sur noir gris fera, clair, obscur, trouble de rature, trouvera effet, clair, obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle, clair, obscur, trouble de rature, trouvera effet, clair, obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Obscur, trouble, rature, clair, obscur, guardé aux peintures. Clair, obscur, trouble de rature, couvrera effet. Clair, obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Clair, obscur, trouble de rature, trouvera effet. Clair, obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. obscur, dans les hauts pins, tu le trouveras sans elle. Clair obscur, troupe de ratures, courbera et fait. Clair obscur, dans les hauts pins, tu le trouveras sans elle. Dim, dam, dalilam, vacarme, s'en va dans l'oubli éternel. Et Gustave, d'homme guardé